We hadn't started yet?
No, we had not started yet, but now we have. So, hey, we're back, and it is session number 19. We're almost to the big 2-0.
Right.
In our last session, we did not hear me for half of the time. So that's Pog. Yep, because I'm broke. And now you can still barely hear me, but at least you can hear me a little bit. So, we had some fun last session. A lot of stuff happened in a very short period of time. I kind of cuckolded you guys a little bit as well, going back and forth, because you guys decided to split the party. I can't help myself. We had...
I feel like it was
a tactical decision.
a tactical decision.
It just had the wrong split.
We had Linen. Well, first of all, the whole group was approached after their little bit of investigating and finding a possible suspect. You guys ended up getting escorted by a member of the White Guard, a man by the name of Dracus, which I don't think you guys have actually heard that yet, or asked for his name. Regardless, one of the White Knights of the Vox Savorum. He led you guys to, apparently, an attack that occurred by the hand of your friend, Pax Olamus. Ran in, attacked, ran through the cage, charred a whole bunch of corpses, and ran off. After some investigation... This is the wrong-ass music for this. I forgot to change the music before we started. Holy. So as you guys investigated the place, these bodies charred. There was no particular race that was killed. There were dwarves, humans, and Aasimar in this particular cage. However, you did find some interesting things. The bodies were charred all the way around. There was no burn marks on the ground to show that like a fireball had been cast or anything like that. It was a very, very strange environment. Eventually, after meeting some members of what you guys know now to be the Kravis Guild, you met Carnetta and Craven, who seem to be two big head honchos of this adventuring guild from Dairn. As you guys investigated, Carnetta ended up joining the group of Linen, Leopold, Leopold, Wayne, and Sakir to go and track down Pax, who had seemingly run from the place out into a forested area nearby. While Craven went with Linen and Rikus, I'm going to get their names mixed up at some point in this session, to go and interrogate the 13 survivors. To talk about some important notes you guys discovered. There are 6 people missing. There were supposed to be 42 in that cage. 23 died, 13 had survived, and you were going to find the survivors and talk with them and interrogate them. And it seems that 6 have gone missing. You guys discovered that on your way to it as Craven was given that information. As you guys rushed in there, you found a whole bunch of what you now know to be vampire spawn, attacking members of the Kravis Guild and seemingly who have already killed a few members of the Vox Guard that were standing over them. Out in the forest, we had a little bit of our own episode of Naked and Afraid. As you guys found Pax in the fetal position on the ground, sobbing to himself as he has just been beaten within a foot of his life. Like, you guys can't quite tell how close he was to dying, but he is messed up. His body is destroyed. He willingly allowed himself to be roped up in whatever way he can be for such large a creature by Carnetta, and we begin the session as you guys are entering back into Vox Camp number 3, with Pax in tow, barely dressed. Is there anything you three would like to do in particular as you guys begin making your way back?
So just as a point of clarification, we have informed each other group about what has gone on in character, correct?
The survival group has not informed the Vampire Spawn group in character about anything yet.
It's going to be a surprise that we're going to explore later.
Would you guys like to give them a heads up? They did tell you that it is vampires that they were fighting.
Yeah, basically we told them it was vampire spawn, then like 12 seconds later, we're like, threat neutralized on our end. However,
There are no more vampires.
are we still missing 6?
Yes. We are still
Uh,
missing 6.
We
You said
are still missing
vampires.
6.
Correct. Yeah.
Also, Rikus, heal. Since I was healing you before we left, heal 1d6 plus 4, plus your max hit die.
Wait, 1d6 plus 4
as-
plus my max hit die.
At the mention of vampires and everything being handled, the two of you, Leopold, a bit frantically will ask, "You guys didn't get infected or anything, did you? You didn't get bitten? You don't need to douse yourself in holy water or need garlic?"
Looks at Rikus. I don't know. Does that look infected? DM.
Would you like to roll a medicine check?
Yes, I will.
I did suffer a bite attack, however, Lennon is looking into it.
Not 20.
Since you got a nat 20, I'll give this to you without a second check. This does not seem infected, however, it definitely could get infected, just like any bite from a creature could. More importantly, you remember from your novels that you've read of vampires in the past, these are vampire spawn. They cannot make vampires. So they would have to progress quite a bit past where they were, which was, you don't know how long they've been infected, probably not long, considering they would have burnt to charred corpses long ago, if they had been infected for a long time. Now, it has been mostly cloudy and stormy for quite a while, and this was the first day with true sun, but another storm is rolling in right now.
Do we think it is smart to bring Pax back into the populace?
Well,
Oh, you found Pax?
I'm saying, do you think he can stand to be outside in the just forest?
Sometimes
And-
you have to make sacrifice.
And, well, as much as I want to give Pax time to recover, we do need to question him. But I believe we had informed you about the fact that we found Pax in character earlier, Lennon.
Yes, you did.
And Wayne, you put holy water on him. I feel like I remember that, but I'm not sure. Did you put holy water on Pax? Okay. And it did not affect him. Okay. Just checking.
Anyways, it was just spawn, so Becca's probably fine. Well, bite wounds still
At least
infected,
it
but-
didn't affect him that Zach told me it affected him.
No, it did not have any negative effects. In fact, it healed him a little bit.
Nice.
Well, I'm very, very glad that they were just vampire spawn. Let's hope those are the only vampires we come across.
Well, they won't be.
Well,
If they're spawn,
yes.
they spawn from something.
Yes, Sakia, but please just let me have this. I don't want to even think about coming across another vampire. Let's just get back to camp.
Then why would you even speak it into fruition? You speak it aloud as if, oh, I hope we don't ever run into any more of them. You're begging for it, practically.
Be quiet.
while that's going on, Lynn will turn to Craven. When we get out of here, should we also get a list of the prisoners that were in here, and then count up the bodies, see if any of them are missing?
You see, as you turn to him and begin speaking, he does have his own sending stone up to his face. And he kind of like holds up a finger to you. And he's going to say, yes, send Kursk to meet them. Escort them to Finch's. Yes, I believe that's the best. All right. Yes, he'll meet you there. All right. I am sorry, Linen. What were you saying?
Should we count up the bodies in here, make sure that there's no other prisoners missing, like in the Esteni's outside?
That is likely a very good idea. There should be 13 in here. Let's go ahead. There's bodies still in the cages. He kind of points to the other two that are still here, that are members of the Kravis Guild. He says, take those cages, bring out all the bodies, put them in a line. As you guys begin arranging all of the bodies, there are 13 bodies, 6 of which all seem to be either humans or Asmar, you can't quite tell. However, all 7 that were still in the cages were not spawns, they did not turn, and they're all normal. They're all dwarves. They seem to be unaffected by...
6 dwarves?
There are 7 dwarves.
Their names.
What are their names? Yeah, what are their... Every single name, Zach.
There's a list of 30 dwarven names on the list. You do not know which 7 these are.
Dang it, we're
All
gonna have to
right,
ask
so we're
them.
looking for a Doc, Sleepy, Dopey, Grumpy, Happy, and I don't remember the other dwarves.
Don't forget Horny.
Don't forget Horny.
Oh, at least none of... Well, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing that none of them are missing.
Yeah. Though, trying to remember, I think, like, location-wise, last session, our group ended up, like, just at the edge of the camp.
Yes. I was kind of backtracking a little bit just so that we could actually do stuff if you guys wanted to on your way in. Communicate with the other party.
Fair.
You guys will also note, Carnetta has been on a sending stone for quite a while on your guys' trip back in.
I'll say, once she gets to, like, a point where it looks like she's at a pause, I will ask her if there's any important news we need to be caught up on.
She says, there will be another member of the Kravis Guild and a member of the White Guard there to receive and escort Pax towards the Vox Center so that we can turn him over to Finch. Finch does have a stockade beside his tent, which will be Pax's home for the next foreseeable future.
That's Matter Finch. It's Matter Finch.
So, do you guys have anything else to discuss?
Not particularly right now, though I'll likely have some with Finch later.
I guess you wanna look at anything in here before we leave?
Um,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, do you guys want to investigate the bodies more thoroughly?
Yeah, Lynn
yes.
would, at least.
Alright, both you...
Blood samples.
Yeah,
Both of you
medicine.
go ahead and roll the investigation or medicine,
Medicine.
if you wish.
Investigation.
Ceramus will also be rolling along with you guys. Ceramus, my goat.
Poggers.
Wait a minute. What's my...
I rolled a 21 investigation.
Nice.
As you guys begin looking around, Thomas, you note Ceramus. He has 2 small, like, glasses that he pulls down.
That's the
And he
wrong-
pulls
okay.
one of them down, and it kind of, like, radiates this light blue glow as he begins looking at the bodies.
And what tool might that be?
Ceramus says, it is an eyeglass of seeing. It allows me to see some of the greater details on one's body. And he says that while he's looking down at something. What did you guys roll? So we have a 21 from Rikus,
22 for medicine. I accidentally rolled history.
22 for medicine. I've got a 31 for Craven. So as you guys are looking around, Craven kind of immediately calls you guys over to the first corpse, and he kind of tilts the head sideways. And you guys see, barely noticeable with the darkened skin and like the burn marks, but there is a pair of fairly large fang wounds on the back of their neck. As he goes from one to the next, some are on the neck, some are like on the flabby part of one's arm. There's one like on one's inner thigh. It's weird. Some of them are placed randomly, it seems. But the majority, or should I say, there's like 6 or 7 that are on the neck, and the rest seem kind of random. And you guys note that the dwarves who did not turn also have bites on them. However, they're all in more random positions. With your guys' aggregate high investigation roll, Rikus and Ceramus, you guys come to the conclusion that the dwarves with their higher constitution were probably able to resist, or at least resist for a longer period, as they were likely not willing, considering the bite was not on their neck. Perhaps it occurred while they were asleep. But all of the more humanoid, especially those that you guys identified to be Azamar, were all bitten on the neck.
So something targeting SMR. Would that be to help or to hinder them?
To answer that question, you'll note that I did just say the bites on the neck are more likely to have been willing bites.
Yeah. I'm just talking like for a greater, like in the greater scheme. Because Lynn is thinking like, oh, were they tricked into thinking that it would be helpful, or?
Lennon, do realize we're dealing with someone who has capabilities to mind control well beyond our understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Craven is going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you've dealt either with this or something very similar to it before. Would you mind reading me into this a little bit?
Yeah, I guess I could do that for you. From one investigator to another. But later you're going to have to tell me where to get one of those. And he points to the eyeglasses. Only fair we're on a level playing field. Anyways, so on our first mission of this team being formed,
About a week ago.
that was not about a week ago.
Like 9-10 days.
No, it's been like
It's been closer to 13 to 14
Oh.
days at this point,
Gosh.
since the very beginning, because you guys went the last 2 took
Oh,
you
yeah,
almost
the
10
travel.
days of travel
Yeah,
just
the travel
to get
time.
to
Yeah.
places.
My bad.
So you're probably looking at 12 days right now.
About 2 weeks ago, then.
yeah, weeks or 9 days in this world. But
Yes.
a little over a week ago, when this team was first formed, we were sent to Sargoth to hunt down a. Hold on, guys. I'm pulling up my notes.
Naztharoon.
Yes.
Essentially an old demon.
To hunt a Naztharoon, which is a specialized class of demon. Turns out it was working for through our investigations. It was working for someone under the name Varys. Did we get his last name?
Nope.
Ferris.
Yes. Who we have now deduced. We didn't know what he was earlier. We only spoke with him momentarily while he mind controlled my brother. But Varys. Quite the deceptive type. He talked much about being possible allies in the future or things like that with the Inexorables. I have a feeling that he is a player that will, well, make his appearance known whenever he wants it to be, and it seems that's right now.
And you said a possible ally in the future? This doesn't look much like the work of an ally.
I think, given the fact that Varys is from Carceri, if you have been read in on that,
Very minimally.
since Varys was from Carceri, a multi-dimensional prison that housed millions of creatures that are thousands upon thousands of years old. Either way, I think he's more than likely trying to worm his way into the Inexorables, possibly through the enemy of my enemy kind of sort. At least that's what I've deduced thus far. Like I said, our interactions with him were brief. However, he did command, as far as we know, that Neztharun, which was responsible for multiple kidnappings and deaths, feeding on their blood and such, and was responsible for the loss of, well, my previous team for the Inexorables. So what we are dealing with is definitely dangerous. However, he does have a way with words and a way with coaxing. Seeing as how these Azimir here have willingly given themselves to this vampire, honestly not surprised.
That is quite the story.
That, and he did very easily charm my brother, but that I don't think that would be very hard to do in the first place.
High opinions of your brother. That
A lot
is-
of brawn. The brains are left to me.
That is still most interesting. Varys, you said.
Yes, Varys. He has quite a few fake personalities, only being here for a few months. And I pull out the leathers that have
Yeah,
all of the fake identification cards and all those other things. Turns out we broke into his apartment. He wasn't too happy about that, but these are some of the things we found. He is currently going by the name Shequel Laison, according to some sightings, we believe sightings of him as a half-elf bard walking around with quite vibrant blue eyes. Shequel Laison. You don't happen to know of a elvish bard walking around, do you? Blonde hair.
I do
Eerily
happen to know of a
bright
few
blue eyes.
elven bards who strolled through here within the past week or so. But I must say that name does not necessarily pique my memory very well.
What about a Shazon Faraway? Ever had contact with anyone of that name?
No, but do you have any other investigation you wish to do with these bodies? If not, I would say that we should likely meet with your compatriots and your celestial friend. They will be heading towards Finch in Vox Center here soon.
Remind me, TM, all the guards in the outside in Stellies, they're dead, yeah? or that were guarding the.
That were guarding this particular installment. Yes. There were no guards outside. You would have assumed that they ran inside to help,
Yep.
and there were 4 Vox guards who were dead.
I'm talking about the ones that were like in the outside, like cells.
There was only one who died,
Okay.
and he was the only one posted nearby.
Okay.
And
we could
I'm
go
going
just
to
by
take
soul.
some. I'm going to take some blood samples. One from one of the Asmir that were turned, and one from one of the dwarves that were not. And then later on, I will compare the potencies and things between the two of the and try to separate the vampire blood, I guess, or vampire poison, venom, whatever you want to call it.
As you look at the dwarven bodies, there's one who's a little bit paler than the rest, and you note that there is still some pretty excessive irritation around the bite mark. This was probably pretty recent. So as you fill up some vials, get some things ready, the other members of the Kravis Guild begin to wrap up the bodies. Some more Vox Guard arrive. They're going to move them, along with all of the charred remains, into a centralized location nearby.
Just to clarify, obviously the ones that haven't turned are in fact dead.
Yes. The ones who turned killed the ones who did not. And that is what started this whole debacle in here.
Okay. I'm going to take my... I don't know if a rapier would be enough for this. I guess a dagger, whatever it might be. And I'm going to make a cut at each of their napes to make sure the spinal cord is severed. And then I'm going to turn to Ceramus and say, I recommend we burn these bodies as swiftly as possible.
Ceramus is gonna kind of look towards you and say, we will have our people look at them and then have them disposed of with haste.
Understood.
They will be under watch. And he kind of turns over towards the Orcan human who helped you guys in the fight. And they're going to be escorting the bodies. So as you guys get up, investigation done, you begin moving back towards the Vox Center, and we'll be meeting the party when they get there. Flipping back to the other half of the party. As you guys enter in, there is what you can best describe as an absolute bulwark of a man, a full orc man. Full plate armor, stands nearly as tall as Pax, and is actually, you note, has what would be considered normal-sized greatsword on each of his hips. And he is waiting there at attention as you guys enter the city. And he kind of falls in stride with Carnetta. And he seems to have been specifically chosen to escort Pax. Do you guys have anything you would like to say as you enter back into the camp, or are we just going to Finch's?
Not particularly for me.
I'm going to say...
You're not there with this group, just FYI.
Oh,
so if you're saying anything,
sorry.
you're radioing.
Oh, I am going to radio them that we're heading our way to meet them.
Okay, will do. So, as you guys continue along, you get a lot of odd stares and a lot of people who are not very happy as Pax walks through the area. Kursk, the orc, did bring a larger set of clothes for Pax that you guys quickly fit him into before making your way deeper into the camp. You guys actually arrive at very similar times. I would say Lennon and Rikus probably get there a little bit earlier, but maybe by a minute or two. As Lennon and Rikus, as you guys are standing outside, you see the group along with Pax and an orc just as big as him, being escorted with, Carnetta, Leopold, Wayne, and Secure, are all walking down. So, as you guys all get back together, you head into Finch's tent. Inside Finch's there, Dracus and one of the other white guards have already entered. And so Finch kind of looks out. As you guys enter, he looks towards Pax and says, "Dear heavens, he is huge."
Didn't they meet before?
Yes, they have. There's a particular thing. Pax is actually a little bit bigger right now than usual, you would say. Pax tries not to be intimidating. He is generally, almost a little shy, you could say. His shoulders are down, slumped a little bit. When Secure first met him, he immediately sat down. That was his goal. He seems almost... And sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. He almost seems enlarged. I did actually forget to mention that earlier. Regardless, as they enter in, he's going to nod towards Kursk, and Kursk and the other members of the Kravis Guild all go through a little side area into what seems to be the stockade that was mentioned. Finch is going to look towards you guys and say, "Well, thanks for helping them find him. Do you have any other information or leads on what the hell is going on in my camp?"
Hold on. So they go ahead and take Pax into the other room.
Yes, they do.
Leopold is going to minorly object to that, or can he at least look into the other room to see what the accommodations are like?
As you're welcome to follow them and kind of peek in. As you do, it seems that there were probably people in here not that long ago, but they were cleared out so that Pax would be in there alone. There is a set of seemingly fresh, overtly large manacles that are in there that are chained to a metal post that seems to be rising from the ground.
I will state that gosh, wonderful timing for a cough. I will state that respectfully, Finch, Mr. Finch, I don't know what you prefer to go by. I understand that you are concerned about Pax, and you have legitimate reason to, but I believe this is a bit unfair. Man is clearly...
Respectfully, Inexorable, this is my camp, these are my people, and he killed one of mine. I cannot, if he is no longer under the possession of another being right now. Until I can prove it and have been in his mind, he will stay in chains.
I hate to break it to you, Leopold, but he is correct.
Well, in that case, let's do it now. You said you could get into his mind, correct?
Yes, some of those rituals will take some time. I can't just break into the mind of a creature like him immediately. Even if he is willing, he will put up a resistance innately. It will take some time, but I will get to work on it here soon. I will try and, as best I can, clear his name. I met him before, and he does seem to be mostly calm. But he did have some moments even before he was possessed. Or charmed, or whatever happened. I didn't know his being could even be charmed. But
Well,
I guess...
that's where we should probably fill you in on what we're dealing with.
Yes. Yes.
We have, with the evidence we have gathered thus far, reason to believe one who goes by the name Varys has infiltrated your camp. He is from Karseri, just like Pax. However, he is by no means an ally. We just got back from the Instellis, where some of the survivors of that attack were being held.
I heard they attacked you, yes?
Yes, they
Firespawn.
did. Turns out they are vampire spawn, which means we have confirmation now that, and reason to believe that Varys is indeed a vampire or vampire lord or whatever you want to call it. And then I go into length talking about our previous dealings with Varys and the Nestheroon and everything we did there and yada yada.
That is most disturbing. I will increase the guard for this evening, especially around the western Instelles. You said this creature Varys, correct?
Yes.
What all do you know of him?
Oh, I
I would like
gave
in
the-
your words what you know of him.
Oh fuck.
Or your guys' characters' words. Yes, you could say, I give him everything I know, but I would like to know some details. Call me picky.
Okay.
Y'all have been taking notes.
Go
Yep.
has multiple identity names. Most notable feature that we've noted is bright blue eyes outside of the norm of various races. We've heard of him as an Azamar, or we've seen him as a similar. We've seen him in an appearance similar to an Azamar with dark hair. We believe that right now he's a half elf with blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a goatee. Has
He's also
some
got quite the powerful charms.
yes, can charm without us knowing. Has apparently picked odd names for his identities, according to anyone that's heard the name. I believe we mentioned earlier a Shaquel Lazan, looking for some sort of elf. We believe that's who he's what he's going by right now, but we're not exactly sure. Gosh, I'm trying to remember back to the night we met him. Let's see. It was-
Shaquel
Yes,
sounds... That's a foreign, almost, name. That almost sounds like something that would come from the Concords. But you said this creature is from Karseri.
Yes.
He has spent a few months here in the Prime Material Realm at this point.
If he's traveling
Yes.
that much, he likely has some form of teleportation magic.
Yes.
He
I
did own a
wouldn't
few
put
ships.
it past him. He does own a few ships and a few
And-
fake names. He has already been completely flagged and fleshed out of Sargoth, where we first encountered him. The guard have been, well, their security is uptight at the moment about that.
Yes, and he also had a particular dagger on him with a red gem in the hilt. Likely as some relation to some sort of blood magic, but we weren't able
Yeah.
to investigate the matter too deeply.
Ritualistic blood drawing dagger. It seemed to grow more powerful if the more blood it absorbed.
It is my theory that he is not the head of whatever he's a part of. There is another who he is attempting to summon.
Oh yeah, he did have like a higher up, huh? Do you still have
Yes,
that letter?
was implied.
Actually, we do still have that letter.
Oh, wait, no,
Um,
it's in my pack. Hold on, wait. I'll rummaging through notes trying to find
I was
which.
gonna say, I can see if I can pull it up.
Give me a minute. It's one of these notes. Note 2. Let's see. The note just said, "To Ascarius, use it well. Unknown infernal signature that we've generally learned to mean honored mid-rank, like, person, I guess." 10:30.
I have the note here. I'm gonna go ahead and just post this in the Inexorables chat. If somebody wants to read that, you're welcome to.
Oh, no, I found it. It was two sessions after that. Dang.
I can read it. Ready? Varys, young one, your mission is simple. Enter Sargoth and prepare to gather the necessary materials for my ritual. You've been given tools required for success in the Nather rune and its impish counterparts. They will gather what is needed. Implant yourself and do not get caught. If things get questionable and your cover is blown, return to me and you'll be sent out elsewhere. The fiends are not important to the plan, but do not let them go to waste. I will await your return with great anticipation. My child, do not risk yourself.
Signed by Quentar.
Quentar.
Which roughly translates to master of some kind.
Finch is just gonna sit there and kind of think for a minute. Do you have any leads you intend on following currently?
Well, I was hoping after you're done probing the mind of our friend here that we can see if he has any further intel. We do also have our rogue sorcerer or wizard, whatever it was, that is still missing, and I believe it's more than likely related.
Yes, and Pax likely has quite a few insights on the matter.
However, if we could put a flag out with your men for a half-elf man, blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and playing a lyre
And with a goatee.
and
I
a goatee.
believe Ceramis has already
Trickle it.
spoken to the Kravas Guild to begin looking out, and they trickled it down to the Vox God.
I do know that if word gets out that we've caught on to his ploy this time, I wouldn't be surprised if he either changes his appearance or dips out. So I think time is of the essence.
Well, we just need to find his magical ritual dagger again, and he'll come find us, right?
We happened on that
Yes.
by chance.
So
And
I
by
feel like
chance,
you're
I mean breaking
implying
into
that.
his apartment.
Yes.
But
I feel like you're implying that he doesn't still have the dagger on him. In all likelihood, he does.
Probably. As a side note, you probably should start letting your prisoners have more sun time, more time in the sun. Just to check for more spawn.
I would believe that at this point they likely would have been exposed. All the tops and covers were taken off since it was supposed to be a sunny day, but they are being put back on currently as we have what seems to be another few days of storms ahead of us. It's gonna get muddy and foggy, but
oh, great.
yes, perfect situation for us to have shape-shifting vampires. It's joyous.
Of course.
I will inflict a curfew, along with mandatory double shift patrols by the Vox God and whatever I can get. I may have one or two of the other camps nearby send some people down. And first and foremost, those who can afford it, I will likely pressure towards traveling up to Team and living there for the next few days. That way we can limit whatever is happening to here. We will check those who are leaving and make sure they have not been infected or turned, just to be safe.
Remind me again that when we first ran into him, into Varus, we did hear wings, right? We had something flying around.
Yes, you
Can't
did.
remember. Okay.
Yes. He does have the capability to fly. um,
Well,
is Ceramus still around?
Ceramus, yes, he is in the room.
well, if we have nothing else to discuss, any last questions from party?
What time is it right now?
At this moment, it is probably early afternoon.
Come.
I believe that you should get to your rituals, and we should question Pax as to what he knows.
All right.
And Ceramus can get me one of those.
Ceramus kind of turns to you. Oh, this. There was a place in Dan. I do not know where to find them here, but there was a place in Dan, called what was it? Williams, Widgets, and whatchamacallits.
www.
That's probably Barry's cousin.
I know not of a Barry.
That's beyond the point. It's that naming scheme goes far and wide, I will say.
Perhaps it's
believe-
simply cultural legacy and not related to a sudden family.
I believe he was one of the refugees who came over, but him and his wares disappeared quite quickly after returning to Volusia.
Though, out of curiosity, can I see that?
He will kind of take it off. It's got this little hook that goes around his
Yeah.
ear, and he kind of hands it to you.
I kind of just sense of how magic works. He's gonna take off his, detect magic goggles and kind of like compare the two and see how they do their certain things, and just sort of generally nerd out over the new fancy toy in front of him. Do you reflect the light?
Finch, at this point, is kind of going to get up, and you see he kind of leans over the table and grabs his spell book and begins making his way into the stockade, where Kursk has just kind of sat down on the ground, a little too big for pretty much any chairs around, and is just leaning up against one of the tent poles. And Finch kind of sits over towards Pax, who is able to be comfortable. Like, he's not locked up in this kind of position or anything. Like, he's just got chains that connect him to a pole that even he probably could not rip out of the ground. And he's just sat down, leaning up against it. And Finch kind of comes over, and Finch is going to take a knee beside him and say, Pax, I appreciate you coming willingly. I will have some healers come in and take a look at your back. Before we get to that, he's going to open up his spellbook and he says, I am going to have to reverse engineer a few spells in an attempt to dig into your mind, into its past. Especially the things while you were taken over. As he's saying all this, Pax is just holding his head low, not even looking up. And Finch is going to say, this will take some time and quite possibly could be painful to your mind. But it will save a lot of lives if we are correct in what we are fighting. And Pax just kind of nods, and he says, do whatever you must, little bird. I will survive. And Finch is gonna kind of like wave his hand, and a small table is going to appear in front of him. As he takes a seat, he sprawls out some paper beside and begins writing incantations down on the side. And he kind of calls over his shoulder. I will likely be here for the next 4 to 5 hours. If you have any other leads you wish to follow, I will try and have information by the end of the day.
Well, if Pax would be willing, you don't need him entirely while you write those down, do you?
He is not leaving the stockade, Leopold.
Not necessarily leave the stockade, mind you, just so we can ask him questions if Pax feels okay to answer.
Yes, you are welcome to ask questions here.
Well, in that case, suppose there's not really a place to sit in there, is there?
Not really, no.
Well, in that case, Leopold will just crouch down next to Pax
You
and
really
ask
need to crouch.
No, you do not.
I guess that's true.
His
don't
head,
really need to
comes
crouch.
up to your chest while you're standing, so...
You look down at Pax then and ask, well, do you feel up to answering any questions then, Pax?
I will answer whatever questions you have, Inexorable. I have very little memory of what has occurred over the last 3 to 5 days.
Then piece together what memories you do have from the moment
Yes.
you entered the camp.
From the time I entered
Maybe
the
even
camp,
before.
I spoke with Little Bird and the large dragon man for a short time before setting out in attempts to find Intrati. I searched for a few days and found little in terms of leads. I discovered of a man by the name of Sharius Lapalm, a seemingly human man with green eyes, darker green eyes, large for a human. One moment. Sharius. During my time trying to find this man, he was seemingly of a troupe of harlequins or clowns that had entered in attempts for entertainment. It was said that he, from witness accounts, had spoken with Intrati while they were in the Savor commissary at one point. I was unable to find them. One evening, or one late afternoon, should I say, I was sitting around the southern section of the Vox Center, attempting to find some food for the evening. And I stumbled across this... I don't even know what to call it. It was a deformed figure. I could not tell if it was animal or man at the point, but it was an amalgamation that I had not seen before. In my attempts to investigate it, I attempted to pick it up and take it back to Finch, as I assumed he would know what this creature was, or at least could help me figure it out. I remember as I walked by, there was this small boy with golden hair. I believe his name was Pollux. I had heard his parents call it earlier that day. He was a little nervous as I walked by, and not but a little bit later, I blacked out. I felt a group of bodies press onto me from above and behind, and I have not been taken in that way, ever. I believe my powers are beginning to wane as reality is finally starting to catch up with the fact that my god no longer exists. I am believing that I will become nothing more than a larger version of yourselves here in the near future. Once I was attacked, I have no memory. I do not know where I was taken. I only know I was kept in a black room. There were some other people there, but it is hazy at best. I believe I was kept under extreme sedation until they discovered or figured out that they could control me. And then they did. I have not been charmed in that way. Ever, except for once. And that was by a very, very powerful wizard of Avalar.
At what point did your memories, or what point did you gain lucidity? Did you start?
I became lucid as I was running in the fields just outside of the camp. I did not even see what I was doing. It's not like I was in the back seat while someone else drove. I just wasn't even there.
And remind me again, where exactly in the camp were you attacked?
In the southern section of the Vox Center, near where it meets the Populi and the Silatra Commissary.
Said that. Okay. Some new names. I don't think.
And this happened at night?
It was bordering on night, yes. The sun was down.
I don't think that old man Silas ever mentioned a Sharius Lapalm Harlequin.
No,
Just the
we definitely have new information to work with, but thank you, Pax. I imagine you still have quite a few things to go through, but I imagine that wasn't easy.
I mean, I barely did any of the work. Sadly. Either way, I will relay to Finch or other members that are here any other information I can remember. But as of now, I believe my slate is clean.
Well, leave the rest to us to find Entradi.
Yes.
And
Yeah, with any
after
luck.
all, it was why we were sent here, so...
Yes. And who knows, with any luck, we might be done by this evening.
I would
Sir! Oh, go ahead.
I would be extremely careful with whatever this is. If it was able to jump and defeat me with such ease, it will be extremely difficult for you.
Oh, believe me, if it went anything like the last time, I'll just have to beat the shit out of Secure again.
He kind of looks questioningly for a moment, and then
That
just like...
That or get a new party.
To be fair, it was the Naztharut that did my previous party in. And we could talk more about that later, I'm sure.
Yes. Regardless, now we have some leads to investigate.
Yep. Sir, Miss, care to take us sightseeing?
Craven's going to say, might as well. And he's going to, like, shove the rest of his stuff in his pockets, and he's going to hold his hand back out to Leopold to get his eyeglass back.
I probably gave it back earlier. I
Yeah.
probably wasn't holding on to it during the interrogation, but admittedly, I didn't say that.
We just didn't say it, so it's funnier to just be like,
Yeah.
he's just holding it, pointing it at Pax, and Craven's just standing there like,
Can I have that back, please?
Please, please.
Did you identify the
please.
spells on it?
So he takes it back, locks it into position, and as he leads you guys out, I need to take a piss, so I will be right back.
Woo, piss party!
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Ooh, piss break.
So we've got 2 people to look for: Sharius Lapalma and a kid with golden hair called Pollux. Was it?
Yes. Though Zach never said what to discuss. So what color do you think his piss is?
He's been drinking a
Green.
lot of water lately. No, he's been drinking a lot of
Wait.
water, so it's definitely a clear color.
I can see that. Now back to your regularly scheduled discussions. As much as I would like to cover more ground, I feel like we should implement a no splitting up rule from this point, considering combat has already occurred whilst we have been split up, and now people might be trying to actively jump us.
What if we double down?
Well, if word gets out that we're actively looking for him, which I'm sure it has since the word has spread around all of the guards at this point.
Yes.
But hear me out. What if we double down, split 5 different ways to cover more ground?
That does not seem like a very good idea.
I'm going to turn to Wayne and say, you don't happen to have a sunlight spell, do you?
Sunlight, as in literal sunlight?
As in spells that can mimic or generate or use the power of the sun?
Let's talk about radiant
Wow.
holy.
I've seen it done before out on the battlefield. I just am curious.
Yes, I do have some capabilities of those.
I'm more thinking like shedding sunlight down while it's nighttime, and in case we find ourselves in a pickle.
I do not.
Damn.
I'm fairly certain I can have that. I just don't currently.
What level of spell is that? curious
I want to say it's a
There
third
is
level?
there's a 3rd level sunlight spell.
Damn, bro. Yo, can we commission one of the cleric guards to walk with us?
There are not many clerics in the Vox.
What the fuck?
I actually can't take sunlight, apparently.
Nope, that's not a sorcerer spell.
I know, but I thought it was part of my divine sorcerer.
Yeah, a part of your spell list.
Because I can also take cleric stuff, too. I thought it was a cleric. I didn't realize it wasn't a cleric either.
That should be a cleric spell.
It is a cleric spell.
I'm gonna.
It's called Daylight.
Yeah.
I'm up and moving around, but I'm gonna.
Oh,
still
just
be
kidding.
talking.
I can, in fact, take that. I was looking for sunlight. I forgot it was called daylight.
Daylight.
And it's
Yeah,
both a
but
cleric and sorcerer spell.
Yeah. I was just looking for the wrong spell.
Looking for the wrong word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although, fun fact, the Daylight spell does not specify that it's sunlight.
Let me read the daylight spell.
Yeah, it does. It says for the duration, sunlight spreads from a point within range.
I guess I'm
So
looking at
that's
it
the
on roll
new.
20.
You're
Yeah, I
looking
think I'm
at
looking
Legacy.
at the old one.
You're looking at 2014. The 2024 does say the sunlit lights area is bright light.
Yeah. So I was looking at 2014.
Hmm.
Did you guys notice anything odd about the forest when you were tracking packs? Like, was it too quiet, like with the digesters, or was it
I believe there was appointed quietness.
Well,
So
I could
I
imagine that
legitimately
the
don't remember that.
I could imagine the fauna of the forest probably weren't too keen on something very powerful entering it rapidly. So
But that does remind me, and Leopold is going to pull out his vial of Pax's blood and hand it to Rakus. I got some of
Wait.
Pax's blood. As you can see, it's not much, so don't waste it. But if anyone can do something with this, it would be you and Sakia, but Sakia already has some.
Well,
Wait, where did you get
Sakir's
that?
probably gonna try drinking it. So
Yes. Pax pricked himself on a thorn bush, and we got that from it.
That
Only a
damaged
few
him.
drops worth. Well, he didn't have any armor on.
I guess so.
I guess it's another note. Where is his armor?
No idea. He did have his great sword though, and I guess what happened with his great sword? Who took it?
Karenetta took it very roughly.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-pound greatsword, but she was able to sling it over her back. But when they got back, she gave it to Kursk,
Makes
who
sense.
has put it in some form of holding area.
His weapon got uber checked.
Okay.
I do wonder where before Pax said he became lucid while as he was running out into the field. I wonder where he was trying to go before that. Like, why was he just directly running into the forest beforehand?
I don't know. Ceramus,
Very intriguing question, but I don't know if there'd be many clues out there. I already did an investigation, and the only thing we noticed were Pax's trails, and well, that trail went cold.
Yes, Rikus.
Whatever clerics you guys do have on staff, I recommend they take the time to have some sort of spell for daylight, sunlight, whatever it may be. And if we could have one with us, that'd be even better. But
I will put
at
in
least by this evening.
requests. I will note the few that we do have. If we are beginning to evacuate those who can afford to live in team for a short period of time, all the clerics will be assigned to making sure no vampire spawn make their way into team as well. The last thing we would want to do is infect the city as well as this camp.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And that will likely take most of the manpower that we have. Let's just say the gods many of the Vox were allowed to worship are gods they do not wish to. So this is a mostly godless people. Hopefully, religion will be reintroduced in a more positive light in the near future. But as of now, that is not the case.
I'm gonna look at Wayne and be like, just
Did you
big
say
eyes at
you
Wayne.
needed a new church?
Many will not choose to follow, but there are others who, possibly in the coming months, will be a little more receptive towards a more benevolent faith. More so than
Fair.
that of the three C's, at least.
I'm sure it's
The
nothing more
absolution of the
pleasant.
pores awaits.
What?
I'm sorry, what? You cut
Raven,
out the- all I heard was the pores awaits. I didn't
No,
hear the
the
first part of that.
absolution. He said
the
the absolution.
absolution of the pores awaits. Craven stares at you just incredulous for a moment and says, he looks towards you, Rikus, and says, did he just say what I think he said?
Probably.
I do forget that Wayne is a preacher.
I'm not gonna speak on behalf of his of his clergymen and such, but he is the head of a church over in Revedan.
Well, alright. Let's let that one slide by. I'm assuming you wish to move towards the southern end of the Vox Center? It is not far from here.
Yes, I think we should retrace our steps.
Yes.
We'll retrace Pax's steps. And he will begin leading you down. It's not more than like a 5-minute walk to the general area. I would like everybody to roll an investigation check, as you guys were told the general vicinity, and that general vicinity is still fairly large.
Looking for
So close. 17.
blood.
You guys are looking for blood,
Fun.
bodies. You're looking for possibly a child named Pollux.
I really hope that child is an undead.
No. If this is
Why?
undead, we get advantage.
Well, yes, but if that child
You guys
being
are not
undead has a lot of
particularly
other negative
searching for
implications.
Fey Fiends or undead.
I rolled well.
The vampires aren't fiends, though. They're not.
They are undead.
Are they? Oh, they are.
Vampires
undead.
are considered undead.
So
In
that's
my
a lot of
personal
fortitude
opinion,
roll.
rolling an investigation check while searching for a vampire does not mean you get advantage. Rolling investigation checks once you've found proof of a vampire, then you start getting advantage.
Does
So I could have
vampire
gotten
spawn
advantage
not
back in
count
the-
as proof of a
No,
vampire?
I'm not saying like. I
know.
mean like if you found a flapper, like a dead body that has something, it's like, okay, now I have advantage to investigate this. All right, is
Augur
everybody
24.
24? Okay, so 20.
Hey, somebody rolled above a 14.
65. Well, we have
I did.
4
I-
20s or higher. And then a 17. What? Do you want me to mention the 17?
No, I'm just like, man. Lyndon's still the lowest investigation.
Well, that's 103 still. It's a very good roll for 5. So as you guys search around this area, you do not find any bodies. But you do begin asking around and asking some questions. You learn that this group of harlequins called the Laughing Faces did come through just under a week ago and stuck around for a couple days. They were a mostly human group with a group of 9 people, 5 of which were human. And then there was also a dwarf, a gnome, an elf, and a halfling.
I guess, can we confirm that the, what's the guy's name? This Sharius Lapalm, can we just confirm that we know what he looks like from Pax's description?
You do, when you ask people about him, there are people who mention that, yes, he seems to be the leader of the group. A very, very large human, green eyes, dark hair. Particularly wore a mask that only had half a face.
Did they all wear masks that covered half their face?
During their shows, they all wore a variety of masks, but Sharius always wore a mask that was a half mask that was like the face of some kind of like monkey demon, and he would just have the rest of his face just normal, except during shows it would be heavily colored. Makeup.
Could you repeat the troop name again? I
It
missed
The
it.
was
Laughing
the
Faces.
Laughing Faces.
Thank you.
I would like one person to roll me a luck check.
I'll do it!
Dibs.
Actually, hold
Why
on.
not?
Wayne got it. Wayne's lucky too.
Oh, I guess Wayne is lucky.
Does he have
Why
the
is there no
EP?
luck check in Forge?
Because
it doesn't like
it's-
importing custom shit. from D&D Beyond to forge?
I'm sure when
All right,
we sit down and actually go through it, it'll 15. Oh, nice.
15.
15. As you guys are asking around, you are able, during one of your interrogations, you could say, of a bystander, and you mention the name Pollux. They say, "Oh yeah, that's Jim and Brandy's boy. They're just around the side over there."
You said Jim and Brandy?
Jim and Brandy.
Jim Bean and Brandy.
Okay.
Not
As
fair that I put together, but
hey, Jim and Brandy, who knows? Jim Bean is the one you hated, right, Aiden?
Yes. Yes.
what do you hate about Jim Bean?
Just taste of it sucked.
It's a pretty there's a reason it's bottom shelf.
Yeah. And
So-
even had it in a mixed drink too.
Yeah.
So, as you guys walk around, you're kind of led by this person, and they're able to lead you to a very small tent that is actually just inside the populi, that sector of this camp. And you are able to get a conversation with Pollux while his father, Jim, is there. Jim, they're all humans, like sandy blonde hair, dark blue eyes, you could say. They're very nervous, but Pollux, a boy, can't be more than like 7 or 8. They all kind of sit down at a little table with you, and Jim's gonna say, "I understand that you guys have questions for him and that you might have seen something. I just ask, take it very calm. He can get nervous very quickly and clamp up." And he's just kind of standing behind his son on the table as this little kid, just kind of hunched over, playing with a couple toys on the table, kind of is told to stop playing with the toys and they're taken away, and he just kind of, "Hi."
About how
enough
old's the boy?
with children.
Can't be more than 7 or 8.
Okay.
I'm going to hand him a hand grenade. No, I'm just kidding.
Pulls
Harm
pin.
the child.
It's a toy. You activate it by pulling this pin.
Who wants to take this one? I'm not good with kids.
Oh, sure, I'll take it.
Technically, I'm an
I'll-
educator.
Yeah, shouldn't you be
Okay.
great with children? Lennon?
Should the whole party just looks at it like, Rikus says, "It's not my first interaction with children."
It is my second interaction with children.
Yeah, you get a look from Secure like, you are not. Are you saying you're the best one for kids out of all of us? I would disagree.
I look at Wayne. Oh, you.
There are many children that participate in my church.
Just
Okay.
yeah. Just so long as none of them stay afterwards and drink the special communion wine.
Luna
Anyways,
crouch
uh,
down,
He's too good around.
kid level.
Lennon's crouching down to kid level. Okay,
Yeah.
he's kind of looking
I
at you.
I am also crouching down.
Hi, my name's Lennon. And your name?
My name is Pollux.
Well, nice to meet you, Pollux. We're currently looking around for, for someone, and heard some interesting stories around here.
Stories? I like stories.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening over the past, oh geez, 12 days. Looks at record, 12 days or so, right? Lots of stuff you'd see in the, you would read in like heroes in like storybooks and fantasy. It's
Yeah. There was back in Daring. There was a lot of stuff like that. We kept being told that we were going to be in history books. I mean, not me, obviously. I'm just a little kid, but like our people.
But that's the thing. Wait, if you think about it, you still are part of it. You're your people, right? So even if you're not named directly, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the cool thing about books and history, and one of the things that helps keep those stories alive is kind of adding your own story to the books, right?
Oh, I've got a story about a dragon and a giant.
Oh, nice. Uh, okay. Well, why don't you give it to us?
I don't know about that. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, that's fine. Stories can also be just cool stuff we've seen, or like uh interesting stuff we've seen. Since coming here, has there been anything you think would make a really interesting story, whether it be cool or maybe a bit scary to tell your friends just to like have some fun with them, or
I would like you to roll me a persuasion check.
fuck. Shit.
Don't worry, you'll be getting information regardless.
Yeah.
You were doing well, but
Fuck.
no.
Linux.
Can you get an advantage on that check for amazing roleplay?
You know what? Actually, I will give you advantage because that roleplay was pretty good.
Oh,
Right?
jeez.
Standing hand.
I'm going to
And you're
class
gonna
mode
roll a
one.
1 with it.
This one is a great storyteller. So maybe you ask him to trade you for a story, and I'm going to cast guidance on Lennon.
Oh, jeez.
So go ahead and add a d4 to your second roll.
Rolling. A lot
Thank
better.
God.
Yeah, baby.
22.
Ooh, yeah, baby. That's what.
I'll trade you a story if you can tell us one.
Okay. He kind of looks down and goes back and forth for a little bit. Oh yeah, there was that time that really big golden guy got jumped by a whole bunch of clowns.
What? That's crazy. He didn't like fight them off like a cool hero or something.
No, he kind of dropped like a sack of potatoes.
Ah, damn. Well, the funny thing is we're friends with that guy, so we can kind of like have a laugh about it with him later. So
Oh well, that's cool.
yeah,
Is he all right?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's currently the leader of the camp Finches. Helping him out.
Oh yeah, Finch.
Yeah, he's really helping him out.
His
and
call
so-
sign used to be Little Bird, but I think he's starting to be the Big Bird now.
Yeah, I think so. But it's also, I don't know, knowing someone by their old name is also kind of, like, I knew him before he was the big guy, kind of like a
Yeah.
I'm in the know sort of thing. It's one of those cool things. Well, since you told us your cool story, we'll tell you one of ours we've had.
But I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done? Okay.
No, so I remember seeing him that one day, and he was carrying this weird thing on his back. I couldn't tell what it was, so I decided to follow him. I got in big trouble that night. And he kind of looks back at his dad like, I was out way late. But I was following him, and that troupe, I had seen one of their performances. They were really cool. They did a whole bunch of like acrobatic stuff, really emotional stuff. I mean, cringe stuff, like kissing book stuff. It was disgusting. My mom liked it though. Either way, he got, I don't know, it looked more like a performance just because of how quick it happened. But they picked him up and they put him in the back of this cart and they started going like towards the commissary down here. Almost like they were leaving the area. I don't know.
They probably wanted to show him probably wanted to ask him if he could be part of one of their performances for one of the nights, but I guess it didn't
Probably.
work
I
out.
mean, they already were. He was part of that performance at least.
Yeah. Maybe it didn't work out.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe they were just practicing. Who knows? But that's an interesting. That's a cool story.
I'm going to whisper Sending Stone to Linen. Did that cart have any of the bodies in it?
I guess with that cart, was there anything else in it? I'm trying to like picture it now, and I'm kind of having a hard time.
I mean, the thing he was carrying was put in there too. I think there might have been one or two other things in there. I couldn't quite tell what it was. Like I said, it was dark. It was night.
Yeah. Man, they must have actually. Jeez, they must have been practicing something.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, Lennon will kind of like motion behind his back, like anyone else have anything before Lennon tries to recount one of his stories as a trade.
This isn't necessarily a question. I'll let you go
I
first.
do have one. Ask him if he saw the troop at any other point after that night.
Has he? I kind of want to ask. I kind of want to meet this troop, see what they were practicing. Have you seen them? Have you seen them recently?
You see, he kind of looks down and kind of curls up even more. I'm gonna have you make another persuasion check. This one will not be at advantage. You will still have guidance, though.
Okay. Why is Lennon the one talking, man?
Because he's great with children.
No!
That one.
It's still
I
six.
jinxed it.
That's fine.
You can tell with your passive insight that he's lying.
Yeah.
And he says, "No, I didn't see them again."
Dang. Really wanted to ask them too. Oh well. And Lennon's motioning
Wayne.
again. Anything
I'm
else?
going to pretend to whisper to whoever is right beside me. Hey, don't you know about that? What was it? I think it was a demon, maybe, that eats children when they lie. And I'm going to say it a little bit louder than I should as a whisper.
You're welcome to roll me an intimidation check with advantage.
Lennon will
Intimidate the
whip
child.
around. Wayne!
Oh, sorry, did I say that loud?
I'm just gonna be like, well,
19.
As you say that, Jim, his father, kind of steps up towards him, looking at you, and Pollux actually bolts back into the tent. Jim tries to grab him, and he follows him back in there, and Pollux actually comes back, like 10 seconds later, and he has like this little pouch with him that he throws at you, Lennon, and then he runs back inside.
Thank you, but
It works. You're welcome.
Oh,
I feel like we should
That's
see what's
not what you
inside before declaring that it worked.
Lennon will
Well, he brought
It-
something.
Lynn
More
will-
children with I am.
take a peek in the bag.
So as you open the bag, you kind of take things out. There is a small sliver of paper, and there is the bloodletting dagger.
you son of a bitch!
Not again!
It is wrapped in
Like I said,
leather.
you're welcome.
It is wrapped in leather. There is a little note in it, that says, "Hello again." And that's all it says, followed by, the platinum aboleth.
Alright. Hold on, let me write that down.
Hold on. Just like the words, the platinum aboleth?
Yes.
Okay, that definitely seems like a tavern name, right?
platinum aboleth?
Like, I can't be the only one that thinks that, right?
It's either that or a ship.
I suppose it could be a ship, considering we know that the Nezdarune like boats. Or, I guess this is the vampire, not the Nezdarune. Varys likes boats.
Who doesn't like boats? Anyways, Lynn will...
Probably the people who were kidnapped on that boat the last time.
Probably.
Isn't an aboleth like a water monster anyways?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Lennon will kind of look down at this. He'll sigh. Just here we go again. Hands the dagger and note to Rikus, who's crouched down next to him. And once he takes it, he'll take out like a sheet of paper, start writing a story down because he's gonna honor
His end of the bargain?
his end of the bargain, and he's gonna write down a child-friendly story about how the party met Gendo and, had a night with the moon giant under the stars.
It's okay. We can sit here for a few moments while you finish up.
Yes. Now, what are we going to do about that? As he points to the
Well,
dagger.
History has anything to remind us of, then I'm sure we'll just hand it back to them in a fit of confusion at some point.
Mr. Jim, thank you for your time. We're sorry for scaring Pollux.
Jim's gonna say,
Uh,
that was a most confusing situation. I have a feeling he probably had more to say, but maybe demon eating children isn't the best way. I mean, I guess it got you something. I would ask that you don't come back, though. And he's gonna go back into the tent.
Mr. Jim, before then,
I'll come outside and get it when you're done. It's fine.
Also tell Pollux the demon is gone. It was from our first case we were looking into.
He's ignoring you as he walks inside.
Yes, and I'll say, just to ensure that story won't have anything about the child-eating demon, will it?
He's talking to you, Lynn. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Good.
Well,
Yes, intimidate the child.
well, Mr. Ceramus, you know anything
It
called
worked.
you know of
Partially
anywhere called the
works.
Platinum Aboleth?
Ceramus. I don't know anything about the Platinum Aboleth. However, base deduction, there's no taverns in these camps yet. And team is but a half day's travel away.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh, for context, this very dagger, the one that Rakus is holding, is what led us to our encounter with Varys in the first place.
Actually, now that it's mentioned, question. I want to examine the dagger. Does it look like the same dagger as before, or is this a second dagger that's like a copy?
Roll me an
I am also looking
investigation
at the
check.
dagger. I am also looking at the dagger. Since it is in
Anyone
my
who
hand.
wants to look at it can look at it via investigation or arcana.
Let's see.
A 14.
Arcana.
Arcana.
14.
Now that I know that I'm dealing with a vampire,
15.
I
That's
will
less
actually
than
give
roll.
the Anadeus brothers advantage for this roll.
yo, let me roll.
Well, I
again,
don't know
but
if
I
he
rolled
needs it
really
with an
high.
18.
I got an 18 plus 6.
I also got an 18 plus 6. Let me roll again though, just in case.
No way you get.
I mean, he's
18.
got like a 10% chance. Or he could do that.
I rolled two 18s, so I guess So
Okay, so with the Anadeus brothers, you guys immediately clock this is not the same dagger. It is absolutely not the same dagger. Wayne, Linen, do either of you guys have a identify or detect magic that you can add on to your arcana?
I have a detect magic scroll, and Leopold has goggles.
Alright. Would Leopold like to roll me an arcana check at advantage?
Da-da-da-da-da.
19.
Bam.
You remember when you first examined a dagger like this? You knew it was powerful, but you didn't know exactly what for, and you did know it was an attunement-based item, but it was already attuned to someone. This weapon is not attuned to someone.
But does it carry the same magic?
Not quite to the same level, but it has also not been fed.
Well, looks at the Blood Brothers. Any of you want to try?
I think that probably attuning to this weapon and feeding it are both very foolish things to do. But I am curious to see what would happen if we put Pax's blood on it.
I feel like that could arguably be an even more foolish thing. Especially if, let's be honest, we don't know if we're going to have possession of this dagger long term.
Given that this is an item of attunement, I don't think it'll have any magical effect until it's attuned. And
That could
given
also
the
be the
fact,
case.
given the fact that there are only 2 of us in this party that, well, deal with blood magic.
You have a
options are
point
very
there. I think, Sakir, as much as you like blood, I think this blood dagger would be good for you.
I concur.
It might even bolster your abilities.
Sakir's looking at it
mean-
greedily.
I mean, no offense when I say this, Sakir, but perhaps we should hold off on attempting to attune to that dagger and give it to somebody else for safer keeping, given your track record.
But what if
Maybe if he's attuned to it, he won't want to get rid of it this time.
No, but what if... There's that too. We'd be able to keep it around longer if I was attuned to it. Furthermore,
But what
maybe
like,
it had some properties that could fix some of the problems I currently have.
the latter point,
there's a
I
thought.
don't know, but the former, I don't understand how attuning to the object would make you any less likely to become mind controlled and give it away. We may need to give it away anyway, regardless, considering what happened last time. But I would rather we weren't mind controlled into that scenario.
Clearly, we know who this dagger's from. We know that he's likes to dance around like that, I guess. I have a strange feeling that this is one of the cases where we need to play along.
True. meantime,
Rather
gives us-
regrettably, yes.
In the meantime,
And-
it gives us more time to search for those clowns.
Something
And you
tells
never
me-
know. It may be of benefit to us, and it may down the line.
Something tells me we may find those clowns at wherever the Platinum Aboleth is, be it a tavern or a ship. But I don't believe we have anything further to find down here, so we should report to Finch and get going. I think we could probably make it up to team before night gets too heavy. Concurrence from party, as well as the NPC who is Craven, if I remember correctly. Okay.
Craven's going to note, I don't know if it would be best for me to leave the camps right now. I could possibly send a member of my guild up with you, but outside of me and Karenetta, most of them are not much of the investigating type. It would just be some extra brawn.
Well, do you need
Extra brawn is
Karenetta
always
then?
appreciated.
I believe it would be best if I did keep Karenetta, yes.
Well, extra brawn is always appreciated.
Linen and Rikus will remember Randall from our previous encounter. I believe I will send him up with you. He
Thank
is by no means
Perfect.
the stealthy type, however.
That's fair.
Even better.
All right. Regardless, if we are fine with it, I will lead us back to Finch's tent, and then you can decide whether you are leaving today or in the morning.
Yep.
So, taking another trip back up through the area, going up to the Vox Center. You guys re-enter Finch's tent. He is back in the main portion of his tent now, seemingly furiously transcribing another set of spells.
Who's gonna tell Pax he was jumped by clowns?
Let's tell him after we've got the clowns. I guess who wants to be the one to tell Finch that Pax got jumped by clowns?
Sure.
To a child, they look like clowns.
Well, they were Harlequins, so...
Well, we found a young boy named Pollux. He had looking at Lynn. Quite the adventurous tale. However, he did witness Pax getting jumped by a pack of clowns.
Finch stops writing, looks up. Clowns.
Yes.
Harlequins.
Harlequins, whatever you want to call them. But the group that came through not so long ago, the Laughing
Yes, the
Faces,
Laughing Face. I remember them swinging through there from... I believe they're from the Zemnian coast, or at least that's what they said. That's where I remember hearing a name like Shaquell. He wasn't a part of that group. That's not a name I remember from them, but it was names like that.
On the topic of Varys, found another blood dagger from
Yes.
As you set it down, he immediately is very intrigued. He says, "May I?" And he picks
Go
it
ahead.
up with a mage hand and brings it over and begins to identify it.
Although I will note that it seems Varys personally wrote to us, and I slide the note along as well.
That is not much of a note.
No, but do you know the place?
I do not know of it. I have not spent much time in Team, if that is indeed a tavern in the city of Team. Honestly, most of the people that I am close with that I would feel comfortable allowing into this investigation have also spent most of their time in the camps. They're a part of leadership. They can't just run off to Team all the time. I mean, perhaps I believe some of my compatriots in the leadership of the Vox will be returning either tomorrow or day after. They have spent some time in Team. If you are still searching for it by that time, we will likely be able to narrow something down. I can send them a message, but I do not believe they're checking right now. They're not really open to communication at the time.
That's fine. Let's focus on the Harlequins first.
So
After you investigate the dagger.
Yes. Well, it's got a curse on it. Doesn't seem to be anything major. But likely some form of addiction to the item, reluctance to give it up. Perhaps maybe something a little bit more severe. I don't know. I can't quite tell without attuning to it. But there is some form of curse that goes with it. It does seem to be a very powerful blade, though, that gains power as it is fed blood.
Well, in that case, it is of the same form of the previous dagger.
Curse Smersh. I was right. You won't want to give it up.
And you want to know what I just realized? I have the identify spell. We didn't need Finch for that. I could have done it myself.
Womp
Well,
womp.
womp womp.
Oh well.
In
It's not like it
Also,
matters too much.
also for this, there is also still a roll.
Oh boy. Well,
And at least half the reason I remember that is because I have the stats of the other dagger, or at least partial stats of the other dagger.
didn't it get like
Well-
crazy high at one point?
I don't know.
I remember that when you used it, it was very effective.
Yes.
So, yeah, I believe I could pull up the dagger's stats if so desired by the party.
I'm gonna turn to Sakir and say, "Well, brother, if you wish to get cursed, it wouldn't be the first time, I guess."
That was my line of thinking. I don't know if that's a good one.
And as far as curses go, I mean, they could always get lifted.
I think
Probably not for cheap, though. Looking at Wayne.
I think that the intelligent choice is to do whatever it is we can with the dagger that is not what he had in mind for it. Preferably not getting it back to him, not giving it to the people he wants it to get into the hands of. If we're able to destroy it, which I doubt, I think that is a valid option. If not, would it being in one of our hands be the safest way to keep it away from him? Or would it be hiding it away where he won't find it? Or giving it to someone else? Or maybe he wants it in hands of higher power.
I don't think he. How do I put this? Given that this isn't his dagger, I don't think he needs it right now.
Yes, and question, Lennon, does the university have a vault or something similar?
DM.
You know, Lycus does. You know, Evithar does.
Probably.
You've seen
But-
Evithar's office. He
Yeah.
probably has a much more secure place than even that.
If we
very
do need to
secure
keep it
place.
somewhere secure, we can hand it off to one of the professors.
Yeah, that's true.
That's,
Of course,
that's what I was
whether
thinking.
whether we want to do so is another matter entirely, but that can wait until after the investigation is concluded. And
Of course I don't want to.
DM, what time is it?
What time is it in game?
Yes,
We're looking probably at about 2 to 2:30.
and it's half a day's travel a team, correct?
Yes, approximately 6 or so hours.
Well, if we want to get to team tonight, we should get a move on.
Is it
And
summer or winter?
It is entering spring. Or rise.
Is Mercury in retrograde?
I'm not answering that.
Are you a Pisces?
Probably because Mercury doesn't exist in your world.
Yet.
Yet. What is? What?
It's Gendo's left nut when he dies.
Have you made any leads on PAX?
I have at this point attempted 2 different variations of reverse engineering the modify memory spell. Both have failed. I am attempting to empower a spell known as Encode Thoughts, so that he may effectively cast it through his mind and then scour it. However, I do not know if that will work either. I may end up just needing to force my way in and sort through everything, which will be far more time consuming than originally intended.
Oh, as another note, the information we gathered, the Harlequins had kidnapped multiple people, things. We weren't exactly.
We have not
It
had
wasn't
any extensive amount of missing persons. We have had some of the unregistered people enter in and find their way into one of the camps, whether it be a homeless person from Team or Rivercheg that entered into the camps just because free food and housing, or just a member of the Vox who goes from camp to camp upon the day. We have had some of those go missing, but that is as expected.
Just some things to be aware of. As you heard from Pax, he picked up some deformed figure, and that was also brought along with the Harlequins. So that's also another mystery. We'll have to look into.
Yes. If we're talking about deformed things, the thing we have seen that is deformed were those vampire spawn. Don't necessarily know if that's one and the same, but if they've been here this long and this is the first time a spawn has come about, I think that's unlikely.
Stolius.
What did you say, Lennon?
No, there's still Stolius who's still missing. Still trying to figure out where he fits in all this.
Yep.
Pollock's boy, he mentioned that he saw the cart moving towards the commissary, possibly further out east.
The Salatra
Or sorry, out
commissary.
west.
That
Further
sounds like
out
the correct
west.
one.
The Salatra commissary would be heading east.
Oh, yes,
Matarda.
east. Sorry, I was looking at the map.
Yeah.
East.
I know.
Upside down. That was the direction we found Pax here, was it not?
Yes, he was running into the woods out that direction. However, if he was heading down into the commissary, there's not really anything down in that commissary, at least. There's no permanent buildings down there yet.
Yes,
that
I'm
is
saying
closest team.
when Pax was jumped by the clowns, the boy said that he saw the cart continuing to travel, well, to the east.
Looked like it was going outside the camps.
Question DM.
So
So the tent where Pollux was, that's like between the Vox Center and the Slaughter Commissary?
It's like right in this area.
Yeah. So if they were to go if they were to go north, they might need to cut through the Salatra Commissary depending on how the roads look. So maybe they were just going north to Team.
That is a possibility.
I think before we leave camp and head north, I think it might be a good idea to at least circle through the forest back to where you found Pax. See if there's anything in the vicinity beyond that.
Question, DM. How much time would that likely take?
That would take you guys a couple hours, probably. To cycle back through there,
Yeah.
investigate the area, look through things, and then come back. Because it was about an hour for you guys to go out there and come back. And that's with a short
Yeah.
conversation with Pax. So investigating as well, tack on another hour.
That means that if we want to investigate that, we aren't going to Team tonight.
Or you get
And
to team late.
Taverns are open late.
I mean, it would likely be what, midnight whenever we're getting to getting the team by that point.
In between 10 and midnight, depending on how... If you guys come back into the camps and do stuff, or if you just go straight from the forest.
I mean, would we be in any condition to do any investigations in team after being up so long? Though, then again, I suppose the majority of this party is elves, so it's really only a question for Lennon.
I'm still good to go. I got sick. I'm at 60%.
Yeah, and the two of them also fought. If we're going to potentially get into a fight with Varus, which, God, I hope not, but it's a non-zero chance, and we would probably want to be on full juice for that. Which kind of goes against my earlier point of getting to team tonight.
I reckon we start out tomorrow morning.
What's the Okay, but what was the time frame that Lycus wanted us to like get to?
So today
You know,
is. Let me just. I'm gonna double check this real quick.
because I think Lycus only wanted us to be here for a few days at most.
You guys have 3 more days. On Matus, you are expected to be joining him in Suno, if at all possible. So 3 days from now. You guys are on the 23rd. On the 27th is when is the day before the beginning of the Festival of the Rise in Suno.
How long does it take to get from Team to Suno?
Well, you guys were teleported
By
here.
walking.
By walking, you guys would have had
carriage.
to leave yesterday, if not before.
Yeah.
It's
So we
quite the
get
trip.
teleported.
Well, if you guys find Entrati, that's not a problem.
Since we're on a time crunch, I think sooner is better. I think, because I'd have to. Ruckus, how much did you? How many resources did you use in that fight? He's gone. But
Error
Sorry.
404, Rake is gone.
I've only used Linen's only used 2 key and no spell slots, so he's.
I've only
fine.
used 1 feature, and my other features last all day.
So we're fine if we want to get if we're thinking that there's going to be some sort of fight, which there not necessarily will be one,
Yeah.
unless the clowns jump us.
I don't think
And
they'll have as much success. And I
so,
tap my revolver.
True.
Yeah. I am also down a 2nd level spell slot because I dumped 2nd level cure wounds into packs. But actually, now that I think about it, I have an infusion that can help with that.
Yes, you do. You have your signet ring.
Yes. So I will just use that to regain my 2nd level spell slot, and now I'm back up to full soul juice.
Poggers.
Linen's just gonna have to get lucky. Let's investigate the forest and go to team. That's my vote.
All right.
Arr.
So,
Let's grab Randall.
as you guys go back to the tent with Finch, discuss with him, la da da da, Randall comes out. Randall, I will just be flat out with you guys, is a 7th level fighter. He is a battle master. He is wearing plate armor and wields a great sword. That's Randall.
Let's go. We stand NPCs in this household.
Yep, we stand NPCs. Randall's just with you guys. So we're going out to the forest, eh?
Yep. Got it.
Yes, doing some wrapping up investigations first. Then we'll be moving on to team.
And then we're trekking up to team. Same day.
Sure thing. You ever had a late night beer?
I've had a lot of late night beers, not a lot of late night 6-hour trips. But hey, if that's how we're wanting to do it, I could probably wrangle us a cart and a couple horses from the Kravis barracks.
Good man, let's do it.
If you would like, I can stay here and get all that ready. Meet you north peaks of the Salatra Commissary. Couple hours.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, I'll see what else I can convince Craven to give us.
Randall, if you have any, if you feel any, if you're still wounded from that last fight, though, let me know.
I'm all right.
Get some healing.
I've already taken a bit of a nap.
That's fair.
All right. So, trek back out into the forest. What are you guys looking for?
I'm going to tell Leopold. You haven't really done much of a real hike before, have you?
No, I have plenty.
6 hours in the first first thought of a horse and carriage, and you're just...
Well, just because I have doesn't mean that one option isn't preferable. Would you rather walk 6 hours or ride a horse for 6 hours? Or sit in the back of a cart for 6 hours? Because I can tell you which I prefer.
Depends on the car.
I guess you young kids were raised in a different time.
What do you mean?
And a different plane of existence.
Who is older? Who's the oldest, like, in this group?
Wayne.
Okay,
By a long shot, Wayne.
okay, how does, like, astral plane time dilation mess with that?
Astral plane does not have time dilation.
Oh, he's just that old?
Yes.
Dang, I did not realize we had Grandpa on this party.
I don't look it.
By the way, he still looks as young as Lennon.
Yeah. Elves.
L.
Damn you.
Okay, then who's the second oldest?
Rikus. I believe Rikus.
Oh,
Actually, it might actually be Leopold.
Let me look at my character's age.
Of course, you don't have it just on your character sheet.
I was
don't
going to
actually
be
know if I
older.
have a canon age.
I was going to be older, but then DM was like,
Oh,
I told him no.
my character is 145 years.
Yep.
Yeah, you might be oldest.
He's second oldest.
Oh.
Leopold second,
Yeah.
then Rikus, then Sakir, then Lennon. Lennon is by far the baby of the group.
Well,
Yeah,
but
Lennon's
that's because he's
25.
not an elf.
Yeah, Lennon is like a third the age of a Sakir.
Yeah. And who are you calling child?
you don't know how old I am. And
You don't know how
between
old
you and
I
I look fair older than you.
You all look
Yes,
like
well,
you're
that's
in your
because of
mid-20s.
my noble bearing and clearly better sense for self.
Your noble bearing wants to be bored to a carriage.
You all look like you're young adults.
6 hours of hiking is child's play.
I mean, I'm not quite sure if I'd call it child's play, but it's very easily doable. It's just
Both your
why
legs are
work
full.
when
Fun.
there is a very convenient not work option right there? You're making yourself work for no reason.
If you think a hike is work, then I have news for you.
Lennon kind of leans over to Sakir and Wayne. Is this an elf? Is this a common elf argument?
I think I'm about to spice things up if they keep going.
Doing anything for 6 hours besides sitting down is work.
Just let the children.
I'm amazed
argue,
sitting
and
down is
enjoy
not
the
work
show.
for you.
Oh, man.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
Alright, so if you guys are pausing in the middle of arguing with each other, Sakir's gonna come up and he has like this big strap with all these, with a bunch of like pieces of wood and rocks and stuff. He says, okay, so if you guys are complaining about this being work or not, how's this sound? Whoever can go the longest with this, and he goes up to, I think he's gonna go up to Rikus' leg first because he knows Leopold would be sooner to pull away. Strapped around one of their legs, not the other, just one. Whoever can go the longest is the toughest out of the two of you. How does that sound?
Well, if you want to go on a hike with that around your leg, I could sit in the back of the cart and we'll see who enjoys and we'll see who taps out first.
Well, I think he just tapped out saying that he'd be in the back of the cart.
Sakia never said that we had to walk around with it on, only that we had to have it on.
I don't
Walk
know.
smarter, not harder.
Exactly, working while sitting down. There you go.
No, I was thinking of it while standing up right here. So I was thinking and working while standing up.
Sorry, is working while sitting down a problem? Researcher.
No, it's not. And also, as much as I don't know if I would say the word enjoy. As intriguing as I find it to get into a bit of a pissing match with you, Rikus, we are burning daylight.
Never had a conversation while walking.
What do we
I mean, I was
Those
imagining
three
our characters. I was imagining our characters were standing still. But
Oh, no, we're
I guess
walking.
they could. I guess they could have a conversation while walking. Well, if we're in the forest area,
You got soft hands, brother. You got soft.
I was going to say, if we're in the forest area, I imagine getting into a bit of a pissing match probably is not conducive to doing a good investigation.
No, but you guys probably had that conversation on your way, like as you're leaving the area.
Fair enough.
The propensities of the children never cease to amaze me, Lennon. I'm just going to kind of shake my head.
In Rikus's perspective, he has spent like 95% of his life walking everywhere.
Isn't that why you had baby, so you wouldn't have to walk everywhere?
Well, I didn't say that in character, but
No, Leo, he was alone. Duh.
I've only been in the prime material plane for like. Well, I guess you guys don't know how long we've been in the prime material plane.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe another day.
5th week in the prime material plane.
We like just showed up and we've been lying about all our backstory.
Never fought in the Githyanki War. Never did anything.
He just stole like a random drow's credentials.
That would be wild.
I'm looking at him, it's like, that looks like Rikus. I think it's Rikus.
Yeah, it's just younger Rikus, right?
Yeah, Secure
Anyways.
thinks it's his brother, it's not.
I mean, we've already learned that Secure is colorblind, so wouldn't be surprised if he needed glasses.
Maybe we can get him some of those like Logan Paul colorblind glasses, and we'll film a reaction video.
No.
There's numbers on YouTube.
He'll just start bawling.
No.
Wouldn't be.
No. That hurts so much.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can think of so many worse things.
That
In
is
fact,
fair.
I did think of something worse, but I'm not going to say it nor post it because it's not stuff up you. And I have respect for everybody here.
Are you sure about that? Do you really respect the people here?
Yes, there's a certain level of mental damage I am willing to inflict on you all, and that goes beyond it.
I'm
Meanwhile,
impressed.
the preacher in the party casually dropping some wild quotes.
Alright, so as you guys get out to the forest, what are you looking for?
Cart tracks, human tracks.
I guess, Leopold, can you do a quick scan with the detect magic goggles? See if any linger in.
So if that's the case, everyone can either roll me a perception or investigation. And if you're casting a spell in some regard, like a detect magic, I'll let you do it at advantage.
All right.
Anadeus Brothers, you guys do not get advantage here.
And one thing I should note for, I guess, bookkeeping sake, the detect magic goggles I have, they have 3 charges per day, so this would be the 3rd use of them, and they reset at dawn.
Okay, will do.
But I will roll investigation, casting, detect magic, and get the advantage.
I'm giving myself guidance.
If I could transform more than once in a day, I could actually give myself advantage on a perception check by just having enhanced senses, but I don't want to waste that.
I have a guidance on Rikus.
Sweet guidance. DM,
Yep.
if I'm looking specifically for, well, either cart tracks or human tracks or
Nat
both,
20.
essentially,
Let's go.
I'm looking for both. Would that be more perception or investigation? Looking about, because I'm kind of like looking out and about for.
I would say
Could be
probably
survival.
perception. If you guys want, you could also roll a survival. Either one, I'll give you something for.
Well, my survival and perception are the same, so I'm gonna do it. Survival.
Lynn hit a nat
1d4
So,
for guidance.
I got a 26, and it was a nat 20.
I saw.
My second nat 20, I think, ever in this campaign. I haven't rolled under a 10 this
Damn,
session.
even
I
rolled
did
in
roll twice.
7. Okay, well with guidance. 18.
Okay. So we'll start with Leopold. Leopold, around the area where you guys had found Pax, it's a small clearing. you do find what seems to be some strange markings that you cannot comprehend on a stone nearby. You don't necessarily know if it's related, but when you call Linen, you recognize this as a very similar script as the word Quentar was in. Very similar script that took you a long time to decipher.
Oh boy.
You already have a
Okay.
little bit of the legwork done, but you are able to copy down what characters are there, and you look at it and you're like, this is a whole ass, like, command ritual or something. This is a whole ass letter that I'm gonna have to decipher. This will be a long deciphering.
Here we go again.
Anadeus Brothers. You guys take the sweep a little bit wider of the area. You guys actually do find a set of cart tracks that seem to lead out of the forest and back north towards Team. The tracks coming into the forest seem significantly heavier than the tracks going out.
That's it.
That is it.
That's what we needed.
Where were the car tracks going?
Towards Team. It looks like they came from Team and went back.
You said they were lighter coming from Team?
Yes. Or no, they
Or
were
heavier
heavier coming from lighter going back to.
So they brought something
Yes.
and left.
Yes.
I got a nat 20.
There's not a lot of evidence out here.
Okay.
If you'd rolled a nat 20 somewhere where there was a little bit more evidence, maybe that would have been better for you. Sorry, bud.
Find like a piece of gold. Grab one
Roll me a
piece.
luck check.
I have negative luck. Or it's like -3, I think. Should I just call -3? -3, yeah. D20. Subtract 3 from this. 0?
How do you?
How,
What
how do I get
Yeah,
a
what
gold?
happened?
Do I get a gold?
You step on something and you hear a crunch.
No, nothing bad.
so
nothing
as-
bad can happen. 'Cause I rolled a nat 20. I rolled a nat 20, so this can only be
As
positive.
you're searching around, searching like through the tracks to see if you can find something, you do find a copper piece.
You're so kind. Let's go. Now I have a copper piece to my thing.
It was halfway embedded in a horse shit.
Cool. I'm gonna
So
find it,
it's a horse
clean it
shit
off.
Copper.
I'm gonna give it to Linen and say, still paying you back.
What?
That is a penny. If a gold is $1, that is a penny. You owe him $600, and you just gave him a penny.
You know
Every
what?
little bit helps.
Every little bit.
More where that
counts.
came from.
Yep, hold on, let me just
take off the interest
One
pay.
copper. There we go. Thanks. What?
I'm going to pay you back. That was a joke.
No, it's fine. I mean, you want it back? I can.
No, I have a little bit of gold. I'm good.
All right.
How much do I owe you again?
600.
This isn't secure. This is okay.
Or however much I loan. I'm pretty sure you owe 600 because that's how much I loaned for the scale mail.
What about interest?
I don't think I ever assigned an interest.
1000% interest.
Per hour.
I'm not that unreasonable. It's not like I have much to use my gold on, anyways.
Alright. So, as you guys make your way back into the camp with this little bit of extra information, you guys meet with Randall, who has gotten a cart along with 2 large horses to pull said cart. Along with this, he has a standard healing potion for all of you.
Let's go,
Sweet.
Randall.
Got my healing potion. Well, I spent a greater.
We are going to end this session here, and we are going to pick up next week as you guys enter the city of Team as midnight awaits. It'll be damn close to 11 o'clock or so when you guys get there. And that is where we will be starting. So, hope you guys had fun, as always. Gathering information. Next session. Hopefully it goes as crazy as the previous session did. Yeah. Alright, we're going to go ahead and end the recording there.
Yeah, and hopefully you've got a better throat by then.
Hopefully I have a better throat by then. Yeah, hopefully.